ball is in the air here at Swenson Field on the campus of Bridgewater State University. About to witness an interconference men's soccer matchup between the Bears of Bridgewater State University and the visiting Beacons of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bears Sports Network. I'm Matt Donahue.
And I'm Olivia Jeddick.
Olivia, both of these squads have something to prove tonight, even in an interconference matchup, but the Bears in particular are starting to flail a little bit coming into this game with a 1-3-1 record so far. Their only win, an interconference victory against Eastern Nazarene College last week. They're looking to tighten things up a little bit.
Yeah, and I definitely think a good way to do that is at home. And you mentioned that one win they have, and that was here at Swenson Field. So, I mean, they're going to have a tough opponent tonight with the Deacons coming in at 3-2-1, and they already have their own conference victory here. So it's going to be a tough battle for them, but a good place for the Bears, you know, to be at home, and hopefully they can build with some momentum, and away we go here.
The last time the Beacons came through here a year ago tomorrow, they walked away with a 5-1 victory over the Bears. Early jostling around, Depina Fernandez knocked to the deck by Madden. So the Bears looking for something of a revenge victory tonight, looking to improve their record and show the Beacons that they mean business.
Yeah, and I think they'll definitely be able to do that. Whereas you see a lot of experience on the field right now for the Bears and some youth. So at this point, you know, you would think that the team, especially the starting lineup, kind of has some continuity. And we'll see what their game plan here is. As we saw right away, a long ball immediately. So maybe the Bears are, trying to figure out something, good, using their speed on the outside a bit.
It's Russell in net for the Bears. Kasim Ashkar, handling that duty for the Beacons. And Russell early nearly gets stepped on by D'Almeida. Josh D'Almeida, a very strong contender for the man of the evening, at least for the Beacons. Last season, he had just 4 goals and 1 assist to his name. So far in the year, he's already tied that with plenty of season left to go.
Yeah, definitely someone the Bears have to mark heavily tonight as a goal-scoring threat for the Deacons.
And Kasim Ashkar will be a goal-stopping threat for the Beacons. 405 minutes in net coming into tonight. He started all 5 games he's played. A save percentage, goals allowed on average just 1.56. 28 saves on the year.
That ball will skip out of bounds. It looks like we're going to have our first corner of the evening for the Bears.
Corner service going to be the work of Brett Gelfie, the Silver Lake alum.
And I think this is a good opportunity here for the Bears to build off. Some set pieces. Nice ball. Back of the net. It's going to be headed a few times. Nicely knocked out by Ashkar. That's why the goalies can use their hands there.
Most
nice
definitely.
Play.
He wanted to put some cranium action on it too. Madden is trying to set up, works his way around Depina Fernandez, but is rebuffed. And it comes quickly to Braganza. Chased down, nearly having his pocket picked by Rickson, but he fights through it. Beacons threatening, and that one is high off the foot of Lima. Ryan Lima, the Lynn English grad, sends it over, and the Beacons not able to convert on their first hard drive of the game. It'll be a goal kick from Russell.
Sure, Lima's going to want that one back. A little bit too antsy and got excited as he made a nice run.
But a quick and early threat by UMass Boston. Russell the goal kick. A couple people want it. The Beacons will get it down to the deck as D'Almeida, and a whistle blows the play dead.
Looks like there's going to be a little bit of a push called against David Nelson.
Nelson, a very physical player out there. Not the first time he sent somebody to the floor. Cruz looking for an outlet. A boot trying to set up inside. No such luck. Big return there by Rickson. And the Bears are trying to break. Here's LaFontaine. LaFontaine through to Nelson. Chased down, triple teamed. He's trying to negotiate, gets his pocket picked by Perez. Some jostling, and Perez with service in for the Beacons.
Yeah, it was a tough play for Nelson there. He had a nice turn, but then all of a sudden those 3 Deacons immediately surrounded him.
UMass Boston posting some suffocating defense early. Bears are going to keep it in their end, though. DeMello kicks it back. Now Rickson will try to drop it off for Madden, but no luck. I'm not really sure what was going on there. That seemed to be intended for Madden, but he just completely misfired.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good idea. They were trying to build out from the back, and they just couldn't quite, make the transition around. It looked nice, but just a little bit of a misconnection there.
A long shot, and it dribbles lazily to Russell, who'll opt to roll. Bears have lost their only conference match of the year. That was over the weekend to Salem State, a 1-0 loss that they fought hard on. This one deep into Beacon territory and escorted out of there with force by Elijah Elliott from Trinidad and Tobago. Played his high school ball in Gloucester, Mass.
Now the Bears are doing a nice job building out to in the back. Rickson will get it to Nelson, back to Madden. A little bit of a triangular passing right there between the Bears. Trying to play a little keep away.
DeMello sends it across to O'Toole. Gets it back. That one nearly a missed connection. He's going to send it backwards for Santos. Rickson, and he's going to try to facilitate from the back again. A boot. Who's it intended for? It's intended for the hands of Elashkar, who grabs it right out of the sky.
It's a very nice ball by number 2, Dan Rickson.
This one's got distance. Russell has plenty of time to get to it. De Almeida thought about an approach, but stopped short and didn't even try. Rickson with a heave over, Russell with a heave over to O'Toole. I'm getting my R names mixed up already, and we're scarcely 7 minutes into this game. Rickson from Santos.
Rickson's got a lot of time. He's going to get a kick to Nelson. He's going to get it back. Some nice passing right now from the Bears. You can tell they're really trying to be aggressive with the long ball.
Bears taking plenty of time to facilitate, certainly over 38 minutes to go in the half. O'Toole with a boot, trying to set up Nelson, but it's interrupted. Ends up escorted away by DePina Fernandez. Nelson chasing it down physically, but Cruz shakes him off. Works it between his legs, but he gets picked off handily by LaFontaine. DeMello trying to set up Madden.
You can definitely tell that's a strategy by the Bears, sending it long immediately every chance they can.
Spinola chased it down, left it for Cruz, who's going to send it deeper to, once I get a look at the number here. One of the problems with night games is that the lights only give you so much of a look at numbers. It's difficult to see oftentimes. Service in from Spinola. That was a pass that didn't really have an end point by the Bears. He'll leave it for DePina Fernandez.
Now it looks like there's going to be a handball called.
Haven't seen a whole lot of those here in recent weeks.
Looks like number 3, Madden, is going to take the kick here. There's a little bit of delay, some chatter going on.
Madden's trying to direct traffic eventually. He'll take this sort of corner. Boot doesn't get that much altitude. Chased down, slipping around in there is Gelfi trying to navigate it. DeMello back to Rickson. Santos gives it back to Rickson again. De Almeida trying to sneak in, but no luck. Much more luck interrupting it has Pechurski. And the Beacons take over. Braganza leaves it back. UMass Boston has had the most effective drive of the game so far, and it came just about 2 minutes in.
Yeah, and it was definitely quick. You could see the Deacons when they strike. They go right to business, and that was a immediate threat. But luckily for the Bears, Lima was off target.
No one's really there to grab it for the Bears as it heads back into Beacon territory. Elliott kicks it out. This UMass Boston squad with a number of folks from outside the United States, although pretty much all of them played their high school ball in Massachusetts. Madden around the edge, trying to do the dance, and he's getting stopped up real quick by Depina Fernandez. Leaves it back for Rickson. Rickson trying to set somebody up, an accidental Bears deflection. Bears trying to navigate again. Rickson wants it before Braganza can get a hand on it. Keeps it. Nope, it's out. Out off the Beacons. Madden will leave it in. Correction. They'll just give him a new ball.
A lot of action going on there. There's a lot of back and forth. Bodies flying. You can definitely tell the intensity.
Was not expecting a new one to be put into play.
Yeah, he was right there ready for the ball. And I think right off the bat, usually at the beginning, teams trying to feel each other out, kind of a slow tempo. Definitely not this game.
Nelson with the cut, trying to feed it through, interrupted, trying to make up for it, sliding in, but he can't get control of it. Depina Fernandez along the edge, watched closely by Madden. He'll leave it back for Spinola. Pechersky. As I was saying, this Beacon squad, a number of students from around the world on this squad, most notably right now out there is Elliott, again from Trinidad and Tobago. They've got players from Albania, Cape Verde, Ghana, all represented on this Beacon squad.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times you'll get that from a lot of the Boston schools. You know, it attracts for more often from, all parts of the earth. People come from far just, to go to school in Boston. So it's kind of cool to see, some local players and some players from afar.
Soccer truly is the world's game, so they say.
Looks like we're going to have another free kick here. Looks like from O'Toole.
O'Toole looking to post some more altitude than the first free. This one gets significantly that, but it's directly into the arms of El Ashkar. Kasim El Ashkar, the junior from Salem, doing most of the work between the pipes so far this season for the Beacons. Slide up was supposed to meet Lima, but did not. He goes tumbling on the play. But Beacons are able to recover. Bears able to recover better. Nelson loses it, tripped up. And he basically goes UFC on Luan Cruz.
Definitely the intensity and physicality is taking it to another level here. It's going to be a good one.
David Nelson, the East Bridgewater man, is somebody who on the pitch has no qualms whatsoever about playing a very physical, very in-your-face game. And sometimes it serves him well. That one is way out of there off of UMass Boston. No threat whatsoever to Russell.
And you know what? That's why soccer, you need a little bit of balance. You need some speed. You need some good goal scorers, some defenders. You need some physicality in the middle and a good goalkeeper. And I think the Bears have a little bit of all of that. So if Nelson can be their gritty midfielder / goal scorer, I think that's what he can bring for this Bears squad.
Nelson's doing the dance this time with Gisholt, and they take it out of bounds. But it'll be a Bridgewater State corner. Yeah, every team sport has an enforcer, of course.
Definitely.
There's always, officially or not, somebody laying down the law at some point.
Right. Looks like we're going to have another corner here. This looks like it's going to be Madden. He seems to be doing a lot of the corners and the free kicks.
Joe Madden Jr., the Milford native, with the boot, misses everybody. And it'll be Alashkar's job to get things moving. Goal kick. And a very lazy one to Gisholt.
Maybe he was just trying to play quick and kind of catch the Bears off balance a little bit, but didn't really go too far there, so.
Cruz dogged by LaFontaine. Trying to keep it away. He's stepping into the mix. Tries to poke it through. No way that was ever going to reach its target in time. Intercepted on the pass by Cruz. Nearly had an interception. Could have picked Lima, but did not. Depina Fernandez, watched again by Madden. Physical, stolen. Nelson wasn't even the one doing the fighting that time. It was Madden. And Bears are going to keep it in their own end for a second.
Yeah, Madden's done a nice job. He was trying to run back on defense and was able to almost nearly pick the first one off. Then he hustles back and then finally takes it away. So good hustle by Madden Jr. for the Bears. Oh, yeah, I was going to say there's going to...
LaFontaine eats a whole lot of dirt on the play.
I was going to say, we were waiting for a whistle on that one.
Whistle was thankfully pretty prompt. Thankfully, if you're a Bears fan. Egregious enough, it would seem, that it's a free kick for Bridgewater State. Call it about 45, 43 yards out. The belter misses all contact and is well wide of the net.
Looks
What
like
will result is another corner.
Yeah, it might have went off a Deacon's defender. We can't even really tell who it went off. There was so many players standing there. I'm assuming it went off of a Deacon's player because it's going to be a corner kick here coming for the Bears.
Madden again handling the job. Under 29 to play in the half. Service on the corner. Misses everybody again. Trying to chase it down really quickly. But no luck. And it'll be service in by Perez. Hevik Perez from Leominster. Trying to find his man. Finds it for a second in Braganza. Picked off, stolen expertly by Gelfi for a second there. He's trying to shake him, and he does. Through to Nelson. Oh, but he gets just out-muscled. A boot by...
Nicely played out by Rickinson, who was under heavy fire. You could hear the feet coming behind him.
Cruz on the play there just out-muscled David Nelson.
Yeah, and kind of forced the turnover a little bit. I don't know if Nelson was looking for a foul call, but didn't get it, and that almost resulted in a not-so-good possession for the Bears.
Madden heads that one out. Beacons are content to let it because they get a corner out of it. Looks like it's going to be Diego Gisholt who handles that. Gisholt, a graduate of Newton North. Both Newton North and Newton South represented on this Beacon squad. Big airtime off of Gelfi. Stays in. Nelson with a little bit of a windmill. Keeping it out of there. LaFontaine trying to get a piece of it. He's getting tripped up a little bit. Beacons will maintain. Gisholt leaves it back for Depina Fernandez. Chased down by Nelson. Trying to navigate through a sea of white and find his next stop. His next stop is supposed to be, but no luck. It was supposed to be Lima. Would have been a good setup.
Nice heady play there by a tool to track down that nice run and chip it out of bounds. But it'll be another Beacons corner kick here for number 15. Gisholt, sophomore from Newton, Mass.
Crisis averted, but Gisholt will take his second corner in just about a minute. More airtime again by Gelfi. Exact same outcome, but this time it's moving its way out. Gisholt trying to run it down, apparently off of DeMello. He'll yield to Spinola. Spinola toss into Pachurski. Madden wanted to slide in for it, but Pachurski able to finally recover. Across to Depina Fernandez. Nearly outside. And eventually it is.
There's some discussion on the field here. I thought everyone figured that he was out of bounds, but they're going to...
Beacons are thinking corner. Ryan Lima saying you better believe it.
Now there's still some chirping here, some talking between the players and the ref, and he even stopped the clock here. Clock's going to begin. Play's going to begin again here.
Corner's rolling, deflected out of there initially, picked up by Pachurski. He leaves it for Spinola, trying to navigate with it. Surrounded, falls on his rear end, and the Bears are able to take over. Madden trying to break, chased down at high speed by Lima, who gets a piece of it and is able to come away with it. Big steal for Ryan Lima, leaves it for Depina Fernandez. Thought he might have been out when he received there, but no whistle. He's dropped, but is able to get it off to Lima. A setup inside, and Russell is able to scoop it before anyone can approach. But he's feeling the momentum. Tries to drop off a heave on the outside. Lights around, nobody's home. Perez trying to grab it. A couple of different pairs of feet. One a big slide. In the mud is LaFontaine.
Looks like there's going to be no call there, and it's going to be actually a goal kick.
Alashkar is going to start where he chooses, and he'll take this one low and slow. Looks like the call coming across my screen. In fact, Bridgewater was offsides.
Oh, okay, there we go. I was going to say, there's a lot of turn of events.
It's a very funny way to go offsides when you're sliding on your back across the pitch.
Yes. But I've seen it, and this game started off fast and has not slowed down in the physicality.
A big deflection.
Physicality between these two teams is climbing to another level here.
Lima wanted a shot. Rickson gave it airtime on the deflection, but it's going to be another Beacons corner.
I've also noticed both of these teams love to transition fast. They like to get the ball out quick, especially the two goalies.
Not something we always saw. There were plenty of periods during the Salem match on Saturday morning / afternoon where both sides were really taking it deliberative pace. Big boot, doesn't really find anyone. That was Pachurski. Debate as to whether that is going to be a corner or not. Looks like it won't. But on Saturday morning, the Bears and their opponents of the day, the Vikings of Salem State, both seemed very content at times to take a very slow, thoughtful pace. There wasn't, a huge rush. It shows in the score, just 1-0. That was really a freak goal. But they were both acting with great care. Bears making a number of substitutions. LaFontaine, Gelfi, and DeMello will have some breathers. Mucci, Montrand, and Matias coming in their place. And Montrand in particular, an offensive engine at his best for the Bears. Bears looking to take the remaining 22.5 minutes of this half. That one's out, off of the Beacons. Bears looking to take the remaining 22.5 or so, a little less, and set the tone early. Rickson will receive from Santos. Madden on the side. Silva working outside, trying to work his way in. Simply pushes his defender to the floor.
He just ran right through him there.
He just absolutely ethered Gisholt for a second, it looks like. Whistle stops the play again, but I don't think it was an offsides. At least not to my knowledge. No, it's just a good old-fashioned foul. Gisholt working over to Spinola. Misses Depina Fernandez. Trying to get it back. He does eventually. Doing the dance with Nelson. Ooh, and a big collision between Depina Fernandez and Silva. What the heck just hit the floor there?
Looks like a shin pad.
Ooh, that's something they might want.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably don't want to throw that one.
No.
Off the field.
Nelson just absolutely rearranging Dennis Pachursky's organs right at midfield. It's a foul, and it should have been, to be quite honest with you. Gisholt will get things started. He'll get it back from Spinola. Or correction.
It's going to be a dangerous ball, but it's going to be offsides.
Got it back from Elliott.
It's going to be offsides against Fernandez.
It's a very physical game early. Russell going to set up to kick from outside his 18. Headed inwards, but no one's there to collect it for the Bears, and Gisholt gives it some space. Silva gets his pocket pick, can't even get to it. Lima got right in front of the play. Spinola gives that one airtime. Santos intercepts, leaves it for Rickson, fighting to keep it inside, and he does. Back to Santos. O'Toole on the far edge. Will leave it for Russell. Bears taking it slow again like they did for much of the Salem match. Further up and out, just directly outside the field of play by Rickson. Spinola responsible for the toss in to Gisholt. Back to El Ashkar. He'll find his first man in Gisholt. Beacon's also opting to try to take it slow. They'll poke through. That missed connection was meant for Depina Fernandez, but went out.
We're going to see a throw in here from Rickson.
Neither side able to gin up quite what they're looking for.
Nice little flip header there from Nelson. He's going to get it out to Madden.
Well, Madden wants to be somebody's assist right now, but he gets stomped up. Gisholt hit pause on that play. Beacon's back at the controls. Spinola back to Gisholt. Leaves it outside for Elliott. Bears back in control, and swooping in is Norton. But he'll escort it out. O'Toole doing some wrestling on the far edge, looks like with De Almeida. Bears at the wheel. Facilitating again. Here's Rickson in the back. Trying to do the dance, gets met immediately by Lima, who wants some kind of call on the play, doesn't get it. Toss in to Mucci.
It's a quick toss and avoided the subs trying to come in.
That might have been deflected out by Perez.
Yeah, that was a good idea. He was trying to lead Norton, but kind of past that. Had a little too much mustard on it, as I like to say. So that scattered and went right out of bounds. It was a good idea, but should have tried to lead him a little bit more to the outside.
Lost to the sands of time. Garcia and Halbin are in the game for the Bears. They replace Rickson and Nelson, respectively. Evans will also come in for Norton. David Nelson, who put up a heck of a fight, literally a heck of a fight. I was expecting to see boxing gloves on a couple of plays he made.
I know, right?
Very physical, very physical. I've been saying it all day. Here's Depina Fernandez. Trying to work, gets his pocket pick, trying to come in, but colliding instead, hitting the wall is Spinola. This time it's Matias who gets laid out.
Some very physical play here. Oh, another kind of little collision side bump here between both squads.
Trying to get a handle on it. Montron couldn't get to it in time. Service in for the Beacons from Perez. Meets the head of O'Toole. Keeps it inside, headed forward by Matthias. Bears want a foul on the play. Didn't get it. That's a long ball, and this time hitting the deck.
I will have
Looked
to say
like
this game is
Lima.
getting really physical, and both sides aren't happy with the referees, I don't think, because I know there's been some close collisions and calls so far here.
A lot of bodies meeting soil this evening here at Swenson Field.
Also, bodies hitting bodies, too.
Oh, yes. Very physical play, but we remain all drawn up at 0 with about 15 and a half to play in the first. Pushing around. Ooh. And there's a foul, and that one looked like it probably should have been.
Yeah, it was a bit of a double team there.
To be honest with you.
The far end for the Bears, so it's going to result in a free kick for the Deacons.
That was Nick Braganza, the Beverly native, who had the chair pulled on him there. No score between these two squads. Beacons would like to change that right here with the free.
It's a good opportunity.
Service in, immediate deflection off the cranium of Matthias. Toss in this time from Perez. Immediately a fight between Silva, and I'm trying to get a look at who it is out there. I think a very literal fight. They were starting to trade blows. Silva, and if I can see a number from here, I'll tell you.
It's very difficult to see.
Much easier in the daytime. I want to say there.
Yeah, I believe he's taking the corner right now for the Deacons.
Boot in off the head of O'Toole. Big air time, but it's not quite cleared. Cleared more definitively. First by Mucci, then by Montrond. Up is Garcia, trying to set up somebody, hopefully Halbin. But Alashkar gets a grip on it. Under 15 to play in the first half here at Swenson Field. An interconference match, but two very different conference records so far. Beacons come into the day with a perfect conference score. Their only conference game of the year was a 3-1 victory on Saturday at Eastern Connecticut State. And Bears, of course, with a 0-1 conference record coming in, having taken a defeat at the hands of Salem State on the same day. Here's DePina Fernandez working around, watched closely by Silva, pokes it through to Paczerski, up, made it to Madden instead, not the intended result, and he'll get it back from Garcia, trying to leave it back for Russell to make some breathing room. Wasting no time trying to step in was Braganza. DePina Fernandez, double teamed, watched by Garcia. Trying to navigate through, he just loses it, trips up accidentally with his body, Garcia. That was an unintentional tripping. DePina Fernandez is still not up. He's taken a second to move. Play has not been blown dead. DePina Fernandez is ailing on the side. He's grabbing his leg. He is in less than superior shape. Nielsen, DePina Fernandez, and we're going to see what's happening out here. I'm surprised there's no trainer out here yet. To be honest with you, DePina Fernandez, something's up with that right leg.
Looks like maybe his ankle.
He's calling for a sub. And he's ailing. He's back down, seated. And finally, an official is over here to take a look at him. Very surprised that it took that long. Official is calling for a trainer. None is coming. Bridgewater will send their athletic trainers over to take a look at Nielsen DePina Fernandez. Depina Fernandez from Dorchester played his high school ball at Burke. So far this year, a goal and an assist.
We're going to take a moment here as he's going to be helped up off the field by athletic trainer Kevin Roberts, who, while he was here undergrad, he was on the men's soccer team as well. A little factoid there for you.
Somebody well versed in the ways of this program. Depina Fernandez is going to be on the near side, walking under his own power, but very gingerly, having a word with Bridgewater's athletic training staff. Jaheim Perez is in for Depina Fernandez, fellow Boston native from Eastie. Played his high school ball at Latin Academy.
It looks like Mucci's going to take the free kick here for the Bears.
Filippo Mucci. I wonder if he's Italian. That free is immediately booted out of there. At Lashkar prevents any damage as we hit just under 12 to play. Filippo Mucci from Martha's Vineyard. That one's got a long way to go. Immediately in the collision and down is Lima. He took a big hit. He also is down and not getting up yet. Play still going. Play still hasn't been blown dead. Russell's standing out there with him. Not really anything he can do. And again, finally, play is stopped. A ref and Santos are over to take a look at him, and clearly not in a great way right now is Lima. Now Lima is up, walking gingerly, again under his own power, thankfully. He'll jog it off, but he was... Well, he's going to throw it in, and he sure feels fine throwing it in.
That was nice of him to throw it back to Will Russell, the keeper of the Bears. As
back on
looks
his
like Will
feet.
Halvin just kicked it out of stop play to make sure he was all right. So good sportsmanship there by both sides.
Lima jogging, kind of grabbing his wrist, but seemingly otherwise fine. He deflects his own man. Peczerski was giving it a boot, but Lima deflected it with his whole torso. Trying to prevent danger right there is Elliott. In the middle of a bit of a mix right there. Now moving fine again, trying to run up on Madden was Lima. Bears pick it off, and here's Lima, who received it from Cruz. Big boot forward, trying to hit De Almeida, the goals leader. Deflected just wide. Santos was an own goal.
A little bit of heart dropper there.
I was kind of thinking, huh? He was wide of it though.
Clear.
Ended up doing what he was intending to do, which was get it out of there.
Yeah. For like a point, I don't know about you, but my heart stopped for like a couple seconds there as the ball was traveling through the air.
Lima, who has magically recovered, will take the corner. Braganza will have a breather for the Beacons. Dylan Kelly, the sophomore from Weymouth, will take his place. I say magically recovered. That's a little bit of a mean way to put it. I know certainly in the heat of the moment, a bump or a jostle can feel like a lot more than it is sometimes for players. Russell trying to deflect it. He got a hand on it and gave it a push, but it'll be another corner kick delivered by Lima for the Beacons. Ryan Lima from Lynn, first year with this program, first year of college. Went to Lynn English. That one's jostled around, a little bit dangerous. Beacons chase it down. Slipping and sliding is De Almeida. That one's further out, met by the face of Peczerski, but he's able to recover. But he gets picked off by the Bears. And now trying to move with it, trying to get a firmer grip on it is Montrond. He loses it. He'll chase it down. Feed across to Garcia. Double team trying to poke through. Ends up meeting the feet of Cruz instead. Gisholt leaves it for Elliott.
A lot of back and forth. Quick transition from both of these squads. So
Correction, left it for Spinola on the near front. I saw a 1, and I knew there was another number there. I couldn't see 13 or 17.
yeah, especially on the front of the on the UMass, in front of their jerseys, their numbers are so small.
Still better than the pros where you get no front number at all. Chasing it down real quickly is Kelly. Wants to set somebody up. He wants that somebody to be D. Almeida, but it's deflected by O'Toole. Taking a tumble, wondering where the whistle is Mucci. Crowd also wanted a call there.
I will have to say, a lot of we should have had a count of how many bodies and collisions there have been in this first half.
I would imagine a lot of bruises assessed today. Here's O'Toole chasing it down. Beacons get it back, and moving quickly is Pachurski. He takes a tumble, a whistle, and that's a foul. Only question is on who.
And it looks like there's going to be a yellow card assessed to number 5, Justin Silva. He's going to be assessed a yellow card here.
Silva sees the cartão amarelo, as they say in Portuguese. First card shown today to either side. Clock is stopped with just under 8 to play in the game. In the half, I should say. Far more than that in the game. Looks like it'll be Lima taking the free kick.
He's been doing a lot of the free kicks in the corners here for the Deacons.
Facilitator. Looks like it was immediately deflected and in! It slips by Russell. Looks like it might have been the work of any of a couple of different beacons down there. Didn't have a really clear path there. We'll see what the official word is. Looked like Dylan Kelly was in the mix. Looked like a couple of different beacons were in the mix. I'm hearing whispers of a team goal. Ruling on the field, or at least according to our scorekeepers, is that it was indeed Lima's score. Could be Lima's credit, could be a team goal. We'll get that to you as it's assessed. 7.5 to play in the half. Either way, regardless, the Beacons are now cooking with gas. They lead this thing 1-0 as the first half trickles away. Lima provisionally is credited on that one with his second goal of the season.
Yeah, and a tough goal right there for Will Russell to give up. Looks like it was deflected, or I don't know, the course of the trajectory of the ball was changed and forced it for a goal, and it looks like Lima's definitely going to be called offsides.
Yeah, that one really wasn't even close. He was just trucking ahead.
Maybe it was close in Lima's eyes, but not everyone else.
When you're scoring like that, and right now that goal is credited to him, his second of the year so far, when you're rolling like that, you're feeling some energy, you might let an offside slip through your fingers.
Definitely. It's okay. It's good aggressiveness, but...
Bears looking to answer. Here's the setup. That one could have been dangerous, but it bounced just wide. Al Ashkar wasn't sure what, if anything, he was going to need to do with that, but it rolled just wide.
A really nice look in a sliding number 21, Will Halliburton. Almost had a nice diving header to equalize it. But some good aggressiveness. It's a good, adversity the Bears just faced with the goal, and they came back and had a really nice opportunity in front of the net. Let's see if they can, kind of build on that now.
Just about 6 to play in the half. Here's Jaheim Perez, left it outside, gets it back. Trying to set somebody up again, deflected by O'Toole. Midfield, headed by Elliott. Bears recovering, Halbin puts his face on it, but the Beacons recover and Gisholt is able to leave it for El Ashkar. Alashkar the roll. Ends up with Gisholt. He'll send it back to Alashkar, and they're plenty content, the Beacons are, to just chew clock with about 5.5 left in the half. 1-0 still wins the game. Oh, but a steal. Bears are trying to stay in this one right now. Out on the far edge is Evans. He takes a tumble as he gets his pocket picked. De Almeida will toss it in. Correction, he'll yield to his colleague Hevik Perez. Big air, but it's mostly Bears looking at it. Beacons now in much firmer control. Elliott trying to clear it back, and he does. And the Beacons will sit on it for a little while.
Now the Bears are really bringing the high pressure here against the Beacons, trying to force them to make a bad pass, but now they're on transition real quick here for the Beacons, and a nice turn by number 16, Kelly.
Kelly drops it to De Almeida. He wants a boot, deflected by Russell. But it will be a Beacons corner.
Nice stop by Russell, and it's going to result here in another corner here for the Beacons, and I'm assuming Lima's going to take it again. He's been taking all the corners for the Deacons, and there he heads out for another shot.
For all the corners they've taken tonight, Beacon's only goal so far, scored by Lima, was just on a free kick. Nothing quite so fancy. Deflected promptly by O'Toole's head. Out again, another Beacon's corner. Closing in on 3 to play in the half.
It's going to be important here for the Bears to finish strong here. Finish this half out.
Both sides jostling, deflected. That could have been danger off the foot of Hevik Perez. And Bears are eventually going to send it even further back. It's chased down by Elliott, who will drop it back to Gisholt. Elliott again. Poke through to Pechersky. Airtime. Met by O'Toole. Next by Matthias. Debated again. Halbin delivered a kick that would have killed right there. No luck taking it from Cruz. Bears really aren't laying on the pressure, as you said, Olivia, in the closing minutes of this half.
Yeah, the Bears need to make a strong push, but don't force anything. Be smart. And, hopefully they can maybe try to sneak out another opportunity here with about a little under 2 minutes here to go.
Bonked out of bounds by Pechersky, and the Bears will keep it in their own end for a second. Here's Madden. Garcia, watched by De Almeida. He gets it back. It's off his foot and out of bounds, and that'll be Beacon ball. Service in from Spinola. Ends up with Madden instead, and he's going to try to hold on to this one for dear life. Pokes it through, coughs it up promptly to Pechersky. Gisholt looking for his outlet. Finds it along the outer edge in Elliott. Back to Alashkar. Gisholt with just under a minute to go in the half. Fight at midfield, trying to hang on to it and losing it. Oh, big stop.
Nice tackle by Garcia.
Garcia put himself into it, but the Bears aren't able to hang on. Here's Spinola. Ooh, fancy footwork. He'll drop it back for Gisholt. Cruz. Trying to set somebody up. He wants it to be Lima, and that one hits the top bar and bounces over. That was nearly a bomb.
Very nice. And close opportunity there for Lima as we're going to close out this first half with about 10 seconds left. So a lucky crossbar there for the Bears.
Lima nearly notched 2.5. Just missed. Matias on the outside, and the half is over. Both sides laying it down with energy and then some, but it is the Beacons who are able to capitalize. 1-0 UMass Boston at halftime here at Swenson Field. We'll be right back with you for more action here on the Bears Sports Network. 35 more minutes of soccer action here on the Bears Sports Network. The Beacons of UMass Boston came in today, and they lead the Bears 1-0 in an interconference men's soccer duel. Welcome back to the Bears Sports Network. I'm Matt Donahue.
And I'm Olivia Jeddick. And just to mention, Matt, I'm excited for the second half to see some more physical action between both of these clubs and to see Bridgewater continue their aggressiveness to hunt down this beloved goal they need to tie this game up.
Physical, certainly an understatement to say the least. These squads have been absolutely pushing, pulling, grabbing each other all throughout this match. It has been very hands-on for a game played entirely with the feet.
That's a good point.
Beacons lead 1-0. Elliott pokes it over to Peczerski. Cruz leaves it back with Elliott. Leaves it back with the keeper, El Ashkar. Beacons, of course, in the driver's seat, all things considered. David Nelson, who was such a physical part, is already back in it. Part of the whistle. Looks
like we're going to see a call here for the Bears, just a little bit of a takedown. Nelson kind of got tripped up, and then it was like everyone stopped, and then the whistle came. And
it'll be a Bears free kick. Nelson, very physical by nature, something we were discussing throughout the first half. He's very, very gritty, and he'll lay down a lot of force. That one is deflected by Alashkar right into the air. It's going to come right back and bounce out off of Matthias, who took the free. Goal kick lazy. Well, not lazy, but I should say slow, I guess, from El Ashkar, intentionally. This one's got a bigger boot forward and trying to set up his D. Almeida, but he's offsides. That does not count. That one into the back of the net does not count. De Almeida was well offsides.
That ball will be called offsides against De Almeida, as he was well offsides there, and then he was
continued with the play anyway, even though it was long dead.
And he had a nice conversation with the referee after, probably telling him not to do that again.
Nelson over to Madden, trying to send it in, but grabbed right out of the mouth of defeat. El Ashkar was able to put his hands around that and toss it out to Lima. Ryan Lima, who owns the only goal scored so far tonight. Montron trying to get it, gets his pocket picked by Peczerski, and Peczerski's rolling with it, trying to drop it up front for De Almeida. He's chasing it further than he would like, trying to curve it in, but it's directly to Russell.
Shot by Russell, holding his ground and waiting for that shot. Collects it nicely.
Heave out to Norton. On Gavin Norton, working on the near side, watched closely by Hevik Perez. Now through.
Bridgewater likes to do that a lot. They like to switch fields, which is probably just helps them kind of create a little bit of offense. But
Rickson sent the boot further than he would have liked.
A little bit too much on there for Dan Rickson.
Perez drops it back to Elliott. Elliott will give it back to Perez. Perez gives it a heave, seemingly intended for Lima, or correction, for Braganza.
A lot of turnovers here early on for the Bears.
That one looked like it was out off of Brett Gelfie.
Looks like they're trying to, play a little bit with an urgency, which is great, but you don't want to be sloppy at the same time.
Somebody's shin pad is still sitting along the near side here. It came off in the first half.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was, but someone ended up just taking it out and just kind of throwing it.
Repeatedly turned back over, and Perez is just going to stay out there for service in. Ends up giving it directly to O'Toole, who just kicks it right out of there. And that'll be a Beacons corner kick. Odd defensive play, probably not what Jack O'Toole was intending. Jack O'Toole, one of the further flung members of this Bears squad from Wilbraham, well west of here, played his high school ball at Minnechaug. Service in on the corner, it's debated.
It's going to be a goal kick here for the Bears. Russell's going to take it. Sometimes, it's very interesting with him. Sometimes he'll go quick with it. Other times he'll kind of take his time. That one he's going to kick out to Rickson. He's going to kick it right back to him.
Russell, who hasn't done a whole lot of facilitating necessarily at quite the same amount that Alashkar has for the Beacons. Here's Gelfie, drops it back, gets it back from O'Toole. Gets his pocket picked, stolen really quickly by Lima, and he's working fast, dropped off to Cruz. That was intended for Braganza, but it was interrupted. Perez, back to Lima. Forward for Cruz, and Cruz is hunting it down. He's going to keep it inside, trying to set somebody up, but he misses everybody, and the rain has very abruptly started here at Swenson Field. It just opened up right here, right now. The crowd is fleeing. Umbrellas are opening. A whistle on the play, and it looks like maybe Braganza. It just started pouring here. Stands are clearing out, but play is still underway here at Swenson Field. You're good.
Yes, open up the floodgates. Everyone was running for their lives quickly as possible. If you didn't have an umbrella or some sort of like hood, you were heading to the exits.
One thing I've learned over the years working sports here at Bridgewater State, well, over the last, call it 13 months or so that I've been lucky enough to be a part of this team, nothing shy of lightning and maybe the Rapture would stop a Bridgewater State outdoor sports match. Very, very little slows down, and especially here at Swenson Field. These games just keep right on going.
Yeah, I agree.
Rain has already seemingly yielded, just a quick burst. It looks like some mist maybe out there, but nothing nearly like the rush we saw for about 30 seconds there. Looks like it's still misting. Play, of course, is still underway. Heave in was intended for Nelson. That one is over the goal.
Good opportunity there for the Bears.
Looks like that might have been Montrond. Yes, it was, who headed that north of the Beacons goal. And it'll be a quick, deliberative goal kick for El Ashkar. A small but vocal Beacons fan contingent here tonight. Rickson chases it down. Trying to poke it through, instead gives it directly to the Beacons. And here is Cruz trying to find his man.
I think he's looking for any open teammate right now. He's kind of dancing around with the ball with Bears surrounding him.
He ended up dropping it back to Elliott, who'll give it some air time. Madden outside. Forward to Nelson. Out off the Beacons. He'll leave it for Madden. Madden service in to Nelson, who's immediately getting manhandled out there. He's clearly already, in just the first half of play, developed a reputation. Pechersky trying to work, double team, pocket picked. Big boot out. That was nearly a threat posed by Montrond, but it's given the heave out.
Madden in his big throws into the box. He's going to need a good one here for the Bears. He seems more of a specialist with the, the free kicks and the throw-ins and such.
That one is nearly danger, trying to get it to DeMello wanted to finish the job. It stopped right in front of him, but Alashkar was all over it, and he'll punt from his 18. Doesn't get a whole lot of space. Blame it maybe on the now wet conditions. That one just goes out, and it's Bears ball. Service was in from Norton. Trying to leave it behind himself was Braganza. Forward, but picked up by O'Toole. Chased down between O'Toole and Lima. Ends up out off of O'Toole. Service in from Perez.
Good job by O'Toole, not quite saving it, but getting it out of danger, clearing it, and letting the defense reset here against this explosive Deacons offense.
That earlier shot that Alashkar was all over, I should note, has been credited as a shot to Montrond. Looked like it might have been DeMello who was in the mix, but Montrond is credited with the shot attempt. Alashkar, of course, naturally credited with a save. Here's Montrond now at midfield, dropping it off for Nelson.
A nice
trying to
ball.
slip ahead to Madden. He's working hard. Madden trying to set somebody up, but it is deflected by Gisholt before it can make it as far as Montrond.
I'll have to note a very nice ball by David Nelson to Madden, but wasn't quite able to get it.
Set up in, but it's going to come directly to Alashkar.
So the pressure is definitely building here. You can feel these Bears putting some more pressure on this Deacons defense. And you can see it here. Alashkar's getting a lot more action, I think, from the first half.
Bears offense definitely trying to give it to him and give it to him directly. Beacon's at the controls now. Here's Braganza, drops it back. Eventually back over to Elliott. Elliott slides it past Montrond, gets it up to Lima. Lima navigating, drops it back. This time to Cruz. Cruz with a boot, but that's not really going to be anywhere. And offsides called against De Almeida.
Lots of offsides calls here against these Deacons. Very aggressive of running their routes. These forwards pushing this back line here for the Bears.
Bears immediately cough it up to Cruz. Now to Braganza. He's trying to set up, trying to navigate his way in. He thinks this might be his. He's wide of the goal. Goal kick for Russell. Little over 32 to play in the match. Russell seemingly trying to hit Norton directly. Instead, he meets Perez. O'Toole will leave it for Russell to chase down.
Now Russell's going to use his arm there to kind of switch fields to Rickens. He's going to get it to Madden, who's going to try to chip it. It's going to end up out of bounds, and he's going to throw it in.
That one
Nice throw there to David Nelson.
That one came off of, I believe, Jaheim Perez. No sign of Anelcin Depina Fernandez, who was injured in the first half of play. Was replaced on the field by Jaheim Perez, and I believe it is Jaheim Perez who is still out there. Some excitement on the far side. It looks like it'll be service in from Spinola. De Almeida dropped it back to his own end eventually. Here's Elliott. Looking for his next move. He finds it in Cruz. Cruz ducks right around Nelson. Put him on skates for a second there. That was slick. Left for Cruz by Braganza. Cruz is working with it, but he sends it too far for Perez. Ooh, a slam there. Madden picks it up. Jaheim Perez trying to get it. He cannot. Ends up further back with Pachersky. Elliott again.
Elliott's he's got all day here now. He's just
And
kind of carrying it, waiting for someone to play defense on him.
Elijah Elliott has been a main facilitator here in the second half and for much of the first. Diego Gisholt as well, who's handling it just over midfield. Directly to Madden, though. Nelson's trying to get his way down there, ends up giving it up. Being pulled, that was a really blatant jersey pull against Lima. No whistle for that. Cruz there. I'm hearing talk of a card after the next stoppage in play, which would surprise me greatly because that was a really, really blatant jersey pull. We're going to see what the scoop is. DeMello having a heart-to-heart with the official. He had an absolute fistful of Ryan Lima's kit.
Yeah, maybe he was asking him, like, hey, like, jersey pull there. You know, politely and respectfully, of course.
That's a collision. Madden comes away with the better of it. After doing a duel with Spinola, he's trying to break. He's trying to set something up. Madden trying to break in, leave it for anybody. It's headed out of there. Danger again, headed yet again, trying to get a grip on it is Nelson. He's doing battle. He tries to slam it forward. He's wide. And it's easy for El Ashkar to pick up. Dylan Kelly has come in to give Jaheim Perez a breather for the Beacons. Under half an hour to play here at Swenson.
And the intensity only builds between these two clubs. As time ticks away, you're going to see the Bears become more aggressive and more aggressive.
O'Toole trying to chase it down. It evades him momentarily, but he gets it, pokes it through to DeMello. DeMello over to Gelfi. Gelfi trying to work, gets his pocket picked. Lima eventually comes around to recover before it goes out. Here's Cruz trying to set up somebody. He wants to set up Braganza. The slide off the foot of Russell. He deflected it just past his own post. What a stop.
Brilliant save by Russell to kind of stick his foot out there and get something on it just to deflect it a hair. Because if he's not touching that, I'm afraid it's a goal. So very nice save by Will Russell.
Just a slightly more acute angle, and that could have been 2 zip Beacons. It is instead a brilliant save by Russell, but it'll be a Beacons corner kick. Flurry of substitutions here now.
I'm sure the Bears are going to, you know, wipe their brow there and take this time to kind of set up defensively on this corner. And, of course, I think Lima is going to take it again here.
Healy and LaFontaine are in for Rickson and Gelfi, respectively, for the Bears. For the Beacons, Jaheim Perez comes back in, and he'll replace Luis Spinola.
Lima's going to get set here to deliver yet again another corner.
Service in, and that one is headed wide.
Another good opportunity here for the Deacons to add on to their score, but they're unable to do that.
Russell gets a new goal. Correction, a new ball. There was no goal. What am I thinking here? That header wide is credited to Dylan Kelly. Gavin Norton working on the outer edge. He's going to try to break fast across midfield. He can't drop it for anybody. The intended target was seemingly LaFontaine. But he was just dogged too closely there. Service in from Elijah Elliott. Directly to Matthias. And here's Montrond trying to set somebody up. Madden grabs it from him, sliding it forward for Nelson, but it's deflected by Hevik Perez. A big one is well high from Madden. Another rush of substitutions here. Garcia in for Norton among the substitutions. Kingara in for Montrond, Evans in for Nelson. And you start to wonder what kind of aggression this team wants. Halbin in for Matthias. You start to wonder what the angle might be here as they're taking out these very forceful offensive drivers, guys like David Nelson and Robson Montrond, which certainly, no disrespect to their replacements, Joe Kingara and Colin Evans. You wonder if the Bears are starting to take a different tack to try to draw this one up.
Yeah, it definitely could maybe be switching up a formation, or maybe Coach Adams, Brendan Adams, is trying something different just to bring a spark and new energy to their game plans. You never know. I mean, they still have some time. Those guys could still come back into this game.
Seems especially like an emphasis on youth. You're bringing in players like Evans, who's in his first year, Kingara Jr., maybe a little bit of younger going, ever so slightly, as we head into the final 25 minutes of this match. Madden on the near side, worked by Lima, slides it past everybody, including his own man. He's still rolling with it. He wants a boot, but he's well wide, and he hits the floor face first, but he's jogging it off. But his reward is a Beacons corner kick. Or correction, a Bears corner kick. No corner at all. I thought there might be a corner on the play. Instead, it's a heave in by the Beacons. It was a very confusing set of signals.
Yeah, the throw was so low and they looked like it was in the corner too, yeah.
That looked for all the world like it was going to be a corner. LaFontaine is doing the dance with Hevik Perez. Beacons think they're coming away with it until they don't, and it's plenty of time for Russell to post up and restart things. Bears trying to break with it. Here's Evans trying to work his way out. He cannot hit his mark. LaFontaine trying to deflect it to somebody who can help, seemingly DeMello. It's headed around. Trying to break in is Madden, but he gets his pocket picked, but it's directly back to, a big trip there. DeMello nearly laid out Lima, but Lima didn't go all the way down. He'll boot it back into Bears territory. Plenty of time for Russell to come out and send it to Madden. DeMello poking it through to Evans, back to Madden. Madden drops back to O'Toole. O'Toole to, I believe, Santos on the far side. The Bears are looking for anything as we approach 22 to play in the match. Out of bounds, Beacons possession.
Those few possessions going back and forth, the intensity was just intense, back and forth, turnover. Both clubs going really hard. It's good to see.
Plays blown dead before anything can happen. These two sides are working each other absolutely to the bone. It's been very physical, very rough and tumble. Chasing it down is Braganza.
Again, collision far side between the Bears. Looks like Healy was the one who hit the deck there for the Bears.
They're knocking each other around here this evening, here at Swenson Field. Deep into Beacon's territory, Alashkar's well outside his goal to give it a boot and avert danger. He was getting closed in on really quickly by LaFontaine. Bears at the controls again. Here's O'Toole. Dropping back to Russell. Russell to Santos. Disputed some more. Evans wants a piece. Halbin wants a piece. He'll drop it over to Madden. Madden gets his own pocket picked. That was the work of Jaheim Perez. That one's in, but it's grabbed by Alashkar. We'll wait for traffic to clear before he gets things started.
Nice throw in again by Madden. Really showing off how far he can throw it.
Jaheim Perez trying to navigate through and leave it for Lima. He does. Lima's trying to drop back in his own end. He gives it to Elliott. Elliott a boot. Met promptly by Kingara. Trying to slide it forward. Beacons are fighting for their lives a little bit in their own end here in the last quarter or so of this match. Big boot right into the torso of Kingara. He took a hit there. It's out of bounds off him.
Looks like we're going to have a sub here for the Deacons.
Having a seat is Lima. We'll see what the number is on this fella coming in. That's going to be Isaiah Stessman from Sharon. Promptly headed. Kingara's trying to manage, getting manhandled by Gisholt. He'll drop back. It eventually makes its way to O'Toole. O'Toole trying to set up Madden. It's going to be chased down by Stessman and Elliott instead. Kingara almost passing it to the official. Instead picked up by Pachersky. Trying to drop it ahead. It's a race now. Cruz wants a piece of it. Correction, Braganza. A really physical fight between Braganza and O'Toole here on the far corner. Santos lets it go, and it'll be Bears possession.
It was very physical down there between those two. It's like a good 30 seconds of some pushing and shoving.
Stessman is credited as a substitution for Depina Fernandez. Not really sure why. Sure looked like he came in for Lima.
Yeah, that was definitely Lima because I don't think we've seen Fernandez since he's gotten hurt.
No, Depina Fernandez, as we mentioned, injured in the first half, walked off under his own power, but was clearly not feeling his hottest. DeMello back to O'Toole. Drop to the side. Looked like he was trying to hit Healy over there. Bears threatening. Stessman finally gets it out of there. He's in a duel. Somewhere in the mix, pulled down. That was with Madden, he was. Madden toss into DeMello. Chased down by Stessman. And DeMello will kick it right back to Russell. Kingara trying to feed it through, knocked back out. Healthier boot this time to DeMello. DeMello forward to Evans. Evans trying to drop it off for somebody, ends up getting booted out of there, meets the head of Kelly. Kingara doing the dance with Kelly. He ends up taking the fall. Braganza working his way forward, doing the duel with Healy. Healy ends up falling, and that one's out of here. Bears ball.
Braganza just kind of running over people, all these Bears defenders, and nicely shielded off there by Healy. It's going to lead to a goal kick for Russell.
Healy, the only international member of this Bears squad, from Cork, Ireland. Played his high school ball at Plymouth North. Gavin Norton comes back in to give Healy a breather. Montrond will come in for Garcia. For the Beacons, De Almeida is back in, replacing Braganza. Healthy boot by Madden. Doesn't really go much of anywhere. Deflected out pretty promptly by Gisholt. Or so I thought. Bears again trying to threaten, trying to slide inside here is Evans. He's trying so hard to leave it out for Montrond to slide forward. Stessman kicks it wide before any threat can occur.
Good danger situation there for the Bears, putting pressure. And they had to force Stessman to kind of, was a little bit panicked and kind of just kicked it out.
Stessman a valiant effort, but he coughs up a corner kick that'll be taken by the Bears. This one will belong to Matthias. Nicholas Matthias from Milford played his high school ball in Framingham. Service in on the corner. Bears want it bad, but it's deflected out. Madden trying to slip it back in. Nelson slides it just wide. Nelson came back in for Evans. Matthias, a sub of himself a sub, came in for Kingara. Just wide, and it'll be Alashkar who's at the controls.
It looks like there's going to be another yellow card given out this evening, and that's going to be assessed to number 23, David Nelson, of Bridgewater State.
Lima comes in to replace Stessman for the Beacons. How am I surprised that Nelson has only just now picked up his first yellow card of the evening?
Yeah, very physical on both sides, so I'm only surprised we've only seen two.
Both of these squads have been beating the heck out of each other this evening. Certainly not just Nelson. Everybody's really been getting into the mix. Alashkar is going to pick that one up as it comes his way. He directs traffic, trying to close in, really getting in his face is Montrond. Instead it's a rollout to Cruz. Cruz looking for his outlet, watched by Montrond. Finds it in Lima. Back to Cruz. He's watched closely by Matthias. Cruz dropping back into Beacon territory. Interrupted by Montrond, and it slides past Lima. He just sort of lets it go, so as to maintain Beacon possession. Service in. And a foul on the play there. Not thrilled with that call is Dylan Kelly.
Well, I think it's going to be, I think it was a handball.
Oh.
Might have just popped up and hit him in the hand. But look, it probably could have been a foul, too. It's with
didn't see much foul action. Handball would make the most sense. It was definitely a mix of
both.
Wild throwing around of limbs, but it seemed like mostly action on the floor. Here's DeMello chasing it down, trying to drop it off for Halbin. Halbin trying to arc it in, caught out of the air by Alashkar.
Another good opportunity for the Bears, but Alashkar is using his height to him, as he's, a 6-footer himself, so he can use that height to his advantage on those balls in the air.
He'll punt from the 18, and credit indeed to Kasim Alashkar, who's done a magnificent job between the pipes for the Beacons tonight, really putting on a defensive clinic, some tough saves. Some tough saves as well by Russell, but of course the scoreboard, for better or for worse, reads 1-0 Beacons as we approach just under 11 to play in the match, and there is no stoppage time. Bears really do have just that 10 minutes and 50-something seconds to work with. No stoppage time at all in the conference. This thing ends at 90 minutes whether you like it or not. A boot! Russell just barely deflects it, and the Bears are able to get it out of harm's way. Here's Montrond dropping it over, booted more definitively, trying to hit LaFontaine. He'll pick it up. LaFontaine sliding over to Norton. Norton trying to set somebody up. He's hoping the header from Nelson, a collision there. And that's just barely scooped by Alashkar.
I'm not really sure that number 15, Gishalt, was really going for the ball there as he checked Helbin.
There's been a lot of extracurricular today. And again, both teams, I don't want to single anyone out. You know, certainly some players have very physical reputations coming into this. Nelson among them. He puts his heart and soul into every single play, every single match. But both of these teams have really, really, to a man, been knocking each other around this evening. There's possession, service in from O'Toole. He'll leave it with Santos. Over to Madden on the far side. Madden trying to slide it ahead. It's past Nelson and it's picked up quickly. Gisholt will let it go out. Beacon's possession almost surely to be handled by, yes indeed, by Alashkar. Bears make a substitution. Gelfi, who started, will come back in. He'll give Halban a breather. Gisholt. Headed by Santos, picked up by Madden. Beacons wouldn't complain if they were able to put this one out of reach in the last 10 of the match. There's possession, service in from Nelson. He'll leave it for Madden. Madden slide across to O'Toole. Now to Norton.
Norton, nice.
He wants to set somebody up, a header, and just over Alaska. What a stop! Puts it over his own crossbar to avoid the goal. What a defensive play. I gotta know, can't say this enough, some of the defensive heroics, some of it's been luck, but a couple of really slick plays by Kasim Alashkar this evening.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of them right there. And we're going to see a quick corner kick here from Madden.
Madden service in. Bears would love to tie this one up. Another deflection out, this time again by Alashkar. We'll see if that's another corner kick it is for the Bears.
Looks like Lafont here is going to quickly grab it and reposition himself.
7.5 to play. LaFontaine, the corner, wasting no time. Bears trying to deflect this one again. But he goes well over everything. No work for anybody there.
And in some frustration, he hit the flagpole. Definitely a disappointing look right there for the Bears. They're looking for something a little bit more.
Someone who's not disappointed is Kasim Alashkar. This one goes way forward. Madden trying to slot it back the other way. Nelson chasing it down, so is Gisholt. Nelson wants his feet on it. And it looks like it's going to be out off of him. Small but mighty Beacons fans, or fan contingent I should say, not necessarily individual small fans, I don't have eyes on them, who are trying to give some instructions to this Beacon squad in the final 6.5 of this match. UMass Boston up 1-0 on the Bears. Nelson trying to move it forward, but he's getting double teamed. He's fighting for his life here, trying to arc it in for somebody. Maybe Montrond. Another grab by Alashkar. Beacons will bring Braganza back in the place of Dylan Kelly.
And another good effort there, good hustle by Nelson and a nice cross. But, you know, Askar is really using his height, as I mentioned before. A 6-foot frame can really nab anything through the air. That's what he's done so far.
He's pulled down a lot of them. This one drifts lazily over to Russell. Russell to the side to Norton. Norton a boot. Meets the head of Pechurski. Laid out on the floor, taking a second to get back up. Bears trying to threaten. DeMello is closing in. He's losing control of it, and Gisholt watches him walk it out of there. It was Lima who hit the deck on the previous play. He's now back up on his feet. 5 1/4 to play in the match. Beacons are plenty keen to kill some clock. And Kasim El-Ashkar is doing an expert job of just that. Kelly is back in. He will replace Hevik Perez. Goal kick for El-Ashkar. Sizable boot. Headed forward. Blocked out of there by Santos. Picked up by Lima. Trying to work it over in the air. He'll spiral that one to no one, in particular Madden and De Almeida both want it. Trying to get a foot on it there is Kelly. Struggling. Now back to Matias. He's breaking forward. Gave it to Madden. Madden trying to cut it further forward. Immediately picked off. That one's going to come all the way over to Russell. And one thing that I found very interesting so far tonight is that for some of their defensive flaws, some of the let-ups that the Bears have had, they let a goal through. They have pretty effectively neutralized UMass Boston's scoring leader so far this year, Josh De Almeida. Came into this night with 4 goals and an assist, and it looks like he's going to leave that way.
Yeah, and it's a nice job by them. And like you mentioned, that 1 goal. But other than that, I would say this has been a pretty physically evenly matched match between these two clubs. So hopefully here we can see a nice long throw from Madden. He can show off like he's done a few times already. He's going to do just that.
Madden the heave. Where's it going? It's in!
And it's a goal!
It's in! And the Bears in the near the very end have tied this one right up.
They're running
Ethan DeMello, the man celebrating down there. What a big toss. You were talking about some of the throwing prowess delivered in by Madden, and he's able to deliver a dime.
Beautiful goal by DeMello, but that goal's not happening without that throw by Joe Madden. So beautiful throw by him. Nice play, and you know what? That was a little bit of resistance and grip by DeMello to stick with it and put that in the back of the net to tie this ball game up with.
Ethan DeMello, Madden credited with the assist, and DeMello, from Acushnet, played his high school ball in New Bedford, notches his first goal of the year, and draws this one all up at 1 apiece with just about 3 to go. Could not have been a more timely score for the Bears. Whoa! Big steamroll on the far side there.
Assisted by number 3, Joe Madden Jr. at 3:26. That's a Bears goal. DeMello from Madden at 3:26.
Madden's going to take the free kick after a big push. Tied up at 1 apiece here at Swenson Field, and the mood has changed entirely. That one ahead, Gisholt's going to meet it pretty easily. Bears want to threaten again. Gelfie was in the mix there, but couldn't get a grip on it. Just over the head of DeMello. Breaking more firmly with it is Jaheim Perez. He sends it up, but the Bears are able to recover, and that one's booted out of bounds by Santos.
Nicely broken up by Santos. It was a good transition by the Bears, and then that got broken up, and numbers were going the other way for the Deacons, and nicely done by Santos.
Jaheim Perez with feet on it now. Kicked out by O'Toole.
Nice. A nice defensive wall right there by O'Toole, not letting him by him.
No corner kick either. It's just going to be a toss in by Lima. Throw in, headed around. Meant nothing but Bears. Gelfie trying to get a grip on it, or at least slow up Lima, and he will. Gelfie able to poke it through to DeMello. Oh, but here comes Braganza. He wants a piece. So does De Almeida. He's getting watched closely by DeSantos. Big stop by Russell. He chases it down after an initial deflection.
Looks like it's going to resort in a corner, but another excellent save by Russell.
UMass Boston with far less time to work with here, under a minute and a half to play in the match. All tied up at 1 apiece here at Swenson Field, and the Bears could come away with their second draw of the season.
I'd say this is probably going to be their last best good set opportunity here for the Deacons.
Service in, that one's out of bounds. It'll be another Beacons corner kick. Again delivered by Lima.
1 minute remaining in the game. 1 minute.
A minute to play. Less. Swatted around. Cleared. Most efficiently by Nelson. Elliott over midfield, and the Beacons are moving fast now, trying to do anything they can. There's left open a lot of space. There was coming Gisholt. And the Beacons' backfield has just folded all the way in. Gisholt is further up. Gisholt further up. Elliott further up. Another quick corner. They're trying to move it, and it works! With 19 seconds left in the match, the Beacons put this one back out of reach.
Unbelievable. You know, they gave the Deacons, a lot of opportunities, and they finally capitalized on a nice corner.
That goal is going to belong to Luan Cruz, the freshman from Everett. And the Bears are crestfallen. 19 seconds left, and it's 2-1 Beacons. Bears need nothing short of a miracle to close this one up. Assist credited to Diego Gisholt. Nelson wants something, but the Beacons aren't going to fold this close to the end. And you can put a fork in this one. An absolutely breathtaking gut punch. And that's it. With 19 seconds left in the match, what was looking like a 1-1 draw becomes a 2-1 Beacons victory. And the Bears lose their second in a row here at Swenson Field. Your final score: Beacons of UMass Boston 2, Bears of Bridgewater State 1. An unfortunate defeat for the Bears, and it came at just the last minute after a little bit of closing moments hope snatched away from them by UMass Boston. What a game, to say the very least. Very physical, very, very, very forceful. Beacons come away with the W. Your final score again, Beacons 2, Bears 1. Thanks for joining us for some men's soccer action here on the Bears Sports Network. I'm Matt Donahue.
And I'm Olivia Jeddick.
We hope you have a very good night. Stay safe wherever you may. Every day is a great day to be a Bear. Take care, my friends.